Hi and welcome to our channel. Today we're taking a look at what we've been reading for February 2024.
February was definitely a crazy and a hard month here, but we did manage to get some reading in. So let's go ahead and take a look.
My first book is one that I have been reading for over 2 years, and it's this one, Father William Doyle by Arthur Rahili. I hope I'm saying his name right. If you have watched this video that we made in January about our Catholic to-do list for 2024, you know that finally finishing Father Willie was on my list, so I did it, hooray. So in case you're not familiar with Father William Doyle, he was an Irish Army chaplain during World War I, and his cause for sainthood has been open. He was a very holy, passionate Catholic, but he was also a crazy man. I feel very comfortable saying that because he was crazy for Jesus. He was always doing some really hard penance, like standing up to his neck in freezing water during the winter, or walking through nettle bushes, or trying to hit his goal of saying 100,000 aspirations a day. So an aspiration is a short prayer like Jesus, Mary, Joseph, save souls, or my God, I love you. So 100,000, that's a lot. And he would actually keep track in a little notebook he had, and he would get really down on himself if he didn't hit his goal. And he would say, oh, I only made 80,000 aspirations today. What's wrong with me? So he does remind me a lot of John the Baptist in his zeal. He wanted to be a missionary in Africa, but he wound up being an army chaplain in World War I, where he endured every kind of hardship and suffering that you can imagine, but he did it all cheerfully. He never let the soldiers know that he was scared or worried or anxious. He was always willing to say mass or hear confessions on a moment's notice. He did everything and anything he could to make the soldiers more happy and comfortable, and he thought nothing of his own personal safety in doing that. So if you read the book, you will definitely understand why his cause for sainthood has been opened. He did die as a martyr of charity on the battlefield, and that is why it took me so long to finish this book, because I kept thinking, oh no, I'm getting towards the end. Father really is going to die. I don't want him to die. You really get to know him through his personal letters in this book, and as I said, he is quite a character. If you need someone really energetic, a real go-getter to intercede for you in heaven, Father Willie Doyle is definitely your man. I do really hope and think that he will be declared a saint soon. I definitely am glad I read this one. I don't think I'll ever read it again, at least not soon, because as I said, the details are just so hard to read in places. But I do think of Father Willie often, and I definitely hope he is putting a good word in for me in heaven.
So my first book today is our Sophia Institute Press Book of the Month for February, and that was Cardinal Zen's Lenten Reflections. So yes, we usually do this part together, but this book, as it turns out, is split between Lent and Easter reflections. So I read the Lent reflections back in February, and then Jennifer is going to take a spin with the Easter reflections later on this spring. So I kind of have mixed feelings about this book and these meditations. The book is translated, which that's fine, but I just don't feel like the translation is really doing this work justice. I had quite a lot of time where I was reading a meditation and I was struggling to connect the dots, like how does this make sense and where does it all fit in? How does it connect back to Lent? So there's a little bit of struggling there, which it may have been me, honestly, but I just feel like something was lost in the translation of this work and that it would probably be a lot better in the original language. Now, don't get me wrong though, there were some shining stars that came through. He does have some nice points. He has beautiful, wonderful descriptions of one of the seminaries and how they celebrated Palm Sunday, just going all out for Jesus. And he does have different points sprinkled throughout his meditations that are directed specifically for catechumens working to enter the church at Easter, which I thought was a nice touch, and it's not something that I really have ever seen before. So this book was kind of a mixed bag. It's probably never going to be my go-to Lenten reflection book, but hopefully we'll have better luck with the Easter reflections.
My next book is one that we picked out here to read for Lent. We decided this Lent we wanted to learn more about St. Maximillian Colby. So I read this one, St. Maximillian Colby, Hero of the Holocaust, which is published by Ignatius Press. It's part of their Vision series of books, and that is meant for younger viewers, but I read the Vision books and enjoy them all the time, and this one definitely did not disappoint. So going into this book, I did know quite a bit, or at least I thought I did, about Maximillian Colby. For instance, I knew that he was devoted to the Blessed Mother, Mary Immaculate. I also knew that he ran a newspaper and that he died in Auschwitz in World War II. He was sent to the prison camp and he offered to die in place of a fellow prisoner who had a family. And so years later, when he was canonized a saint, that prisoner and his family were at the canonization. So that is really cool. But reading this book, I also realized that there was a lot that I didn't know about Maximillian Colby. For instance, I never realized that his health was really bad his whole life. He had tuberculosis and he suffered repeated flare-ups of that. So he was very sick and weak. He often had to be sent away to rest and recuperate, but he kept going. He never let that slow him down. I also didn't realize that he was very much sort of a male Mother Angelica figure, meaning that he just thought, well, God wants me to do this job and I'm just going to let God take care of the details. For instance, when he wanted to publish his newspaper, he didn't know all that much about the printing business or how to run printing presses. So when he needed a new expensive printing press and someone who would know how to run it, he just prayed, asked the Blessed Mother for her help, and she came through for him. And then another thing I learned, and this is trivial, yes, I admit it, but I've seen pictures of St. Maximillian Colby, and I always wondered about his hipster beard. You know, why do you have that beard? And so this book explained it to me. When he was a missionary in Japan, he needed to blend in with the Japanese elders, adapt to their customs so he could be fully respected. So he grew his hipster beard and he was known as Father Colby. His whole time in Japan was just amazing, everything that happened at the mission there. So I am really glad that I read this book. It has definitely sparked my interest to go more deeply into his life. So I'm currently looking for a more detailed biography of him to read. If you have a favorite one, let me know down in the comments.
So my other book today is The Secret Curse by Bethany Atchizada. So this was one of my most anticipated new releases for 2024. It came out back in January. Of course, I had to buy it right away and read it right away. So this one is harder to talk about. It's locked a little deep. It's book 3 in the Queen's Rise series, which is in turn a companion series for the Stolen Kingdom series, which they might have come up on this channel before. I don't remember exactly, but they're all fairy tale retellings. And this series follows Jezebel, who becomes the evil queen in the Stolen Kingdom series. This is her story of her rise to power, her why she is the way she is story, you know, how she became the villain. So I've had lots of fun over the past several years just reading through both of these series. They are definitely my go-to for clean fantasy. There is maybe one questionable word in both of these series, so in 7 books worth of content. The author is Christian, and it is just truly incredible how she has crafted these amazing worlds where you don't have to worry about what you're reading. So this is great for teens who love action, magic, a little bit of romance. And we have been thinking about doing a video on the concept of clean stories and what that looks like, what it means. So let us know down in the comments if that is something you're interested in seeing.
My next book is a really fun one called Anything But Groovy by Amanda Lauer, who is one of the authors over at Catholic Teen Books. This is a time travel tale about a girl named Morgan, a modern middle schooler. She's about to start 7th grade at her local Catholic school, but the night before, she falls on the volleyball court and hits her head. The next morning, the first day of school, she wakes up, but it's 1974, and she's in her mother's body about to start school at that same Catholic high school. So as you can imagine, this one is just so much fun. If you grew up in or around the 1970s, you will definitely enjoy flashing back to all the fun 70 things like the TV shows, Tony, Orlando, and Dawn, the music, Seasons in the Sun, remember that one? And all of the 70s fashions. If you didn't grow up in the 70s or you can't quite remember them, this book will definitely make it all come alive for you. When I was reading it, I was really struck at how much time all the family spent together. In the evenings, they would all come downstairs and watch TV together, things like Gunsmoke or The Wonderful World of Disney. And oftentimes in the evenings, the kids, everyone on the block would just go outside and play different games until it got dark. So it was very heartening that the main character, Morgan, did not seem to miss her cell phone or any of the modern luxuries like the internet at all. Now, there is one caveat I want to throw out there about this book, and that is that there is some language in it. It is just one word, which is fairly mild as far as bad language goes, but it comes up repeatedly, and I'm not sure why, because I think the story definitely didn't need it. It was wonderful just as written. Kate disagrees with me. She says, oh, that's not really that much of a bad word, and the author is writing in character as a modern 7th grader, so you would expect to see that word from time to time. I don't know. We don't use that word in my house, so again, I just wanted to throw that out there, give you a heads up. I don't want to give away any spoilers about how the book ends, but I do want to mention that by the end, the main character, Morgan, truly has a new appreciation for her mother and what it was like for her growing up. And I think that's a really great reminder for us all. So often we don't stop to consider the people around us, what they've been through and what they're going through. So this book definitely can help us have a new appreciation for our family and friends. So Amanda Lauer has written several books for Catholic teenagers, which are also very enjoyable for adults. So I will leave her information linked down below for you. And lastly, I have a fun library find for you called Hooked on Shakespeare, Crochet Projects Inspired by the Bard. So when I saw this one, I just did a double take because I do enjoy crocheting and I do enjoy Shakespeare. And so why would you not want to crochet figures from all of Shakespeare's plays? For instance, this is Tatiana and the Donkey Bottom from A Midsummer's Night's Dream. So this book is just full of all kinds of different projects that you can crochet. Antony and Cleopatra, the witches from Macbeth, Julius Caesar. It's just so much fun. So for each play, here's Much Ado About Nothing, you get a plot summary, and then you also get some fun facts about each play. And there were fun facts in this book that I had never heard about some of the plays, so I enjoyed reading those. So I think this is an ideal book for crocheters, for Shakespeare lovers, or for homeschoolers. How much fun would it be to teach your kids about the plays of William Shakespeare by crocheting figures from the plays? I don't know, maybe if you have a crafty middle schooler or high schooler, they could make the figures and somehow incorporate that into some type of school credit. So again, a fun find from the library. You never know what you'll find at the library.
All right, so that is a look at what we've been reading in the month of February.
With St. Patrick, we're definitely looking forward to his feast day coming up March 17th.
So as always, let us know down in the comments what you read in the month of February.
So we hope you enjoyed the video. Thank you so much for watching, and we'll see you next time.
Bye.